Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. So yesterday we have briefly covered. There are many aspects we have not mentioned about the shamatha meditation, and we have explained the shamatha meditation is the meditation on the continuity of the mind on the same object. This is very important to understand. The vipassana meditation is the meditation in which you change the mental image. You change your mental image, and we have described the 3 stages of changing the mental image as explained in our text. First, you have the Vyavashyamjuli, Lakshana Pratisamvedi. That means you penetrate the characteristic of the object. The characteristic of the object, you can practice with differentiating, but here is differentiating wisdom, but here is mostly because we are speaking about the non-dualistic meditation. Here, the differentiation of the object actually means that the image of the object comes from the mind itself. So this is very important to understand. You determine that it is so. In order to determine that it is so, you use the adimokshitin manasikara. You use the attention based on resolution. This brings you into deeper concentration, because the resolution is connected with concentration. Then, when you have success in this concentration, you have penetrated the fact that the image, here, conceptual image, as we have explained, comes from the mind itself. Then the next stage is when the mind has attained clarity and relaxation, you again leave the object, consciously leave the object. In the Yogācāra Bhumi Shastra, we will not explain now in detail, otherwise there may be confusion. There are 7 manasikaras, 7 kinds of attention, among the many attentions explained in Yogācāra Bhumi Shastra. 7 are very important. They explain both the practice of shamatha and the vipassana. So the first attention is to determine the characteristic of the object. Yes, Lakshana Pratisamvedi, or understand the characteristic of the object. Once you understand the characteristic of the object, you then decide, make a resolution that this is so, can be otherwise. And this is connected, of course, with concentration. The resolution has to do with concentration. Once you resolute on either on the mental image, the conceptual image, or you resolute on this mental image, which is not the same with what you have experienced with the senses, but also not different from it. That's why it's called Tadrisha, similar to that. Suppose you meditate on that, on the breath that we have explained. You feel the breath with your body when your concentration has improved. And when you have determined about the object, then you will experience the mental image of the object. When you experience the mental image of the object with stable attention based on the sati, mindfulness, then you can leave the gross defilement. It means you attain, in our sense, that we have explained, you attain the prashrabdhi, you attain clarity and relaxation. Then the next stage is the experiencing the happiness of meditation. When you have relaxation, clarity, when you have plans, you experience the bliss of meditation. When you experience the bliss of meditation, one should not, as we have explained in the 9 stages of shamatha, one should not be complacent with that. One should investigate the object and see that there are still tendencies to slight tendencies to defilement. So the next attention is called the investigation attention. When you investigate and see that there are still tendencies to ups and downs, then you can, as we have explained before in terms of the 9 stages of mind in shamatha, then you apply effort to reduce these tendencies so that they not arise anymore. And then you come, the 7th stage is this, what we have explained as anabhoga manasikara, the attention, effortless attention. Effortless attention is so to say, the culmination of meditation, the highest stage of meditation. For shamatha, if you have it, you can go into samadhi. If you can keep your mind completely balanced on the object. In vipassana, then with this kind of mind, then you can remove completely the defilements using the analytical wisdom and attain the realization. So it is explained in the 7th stage. So now we are at these 3 stages because we can only effectively practice, as we have seen, both shamatha and vipassana at the stage of prashrabdhi. Without the prashrabdhi, as the next question explains, we cannot talk of shamatha, we cannot talk of vipassana. We are, so to say, working for shamatha and working for vipassana. Or adopting to shamatha, adopting to vipassana. So, strictly speaking, we can only practice shamatha and vipassana when we have attained the pliancy of mind and the body, when we are completely relaxed, and we have clarity in the sensation of the mind and sensation of the body. The meditation, no matter whether shamatha or vipassana, is the process of sublimation of the sensation. The sensation is sublimated both by concentration and by wisdom. This is very important to understand. So if we want to learn meditation, the first step is to become familiar with state of prashanti when one has clear understanding. Clarity and relaxation, connected with pliancy, lightness, softness, straightness, and all the different factors which are influencing the mind and making it very subtle. So let us go back to the text now. So when you get this detachment, we have explained, understand the characteristic, determine, detach. When you get the detachment, when you get the prashanti, then they are able to correctly discern the knowable meanings of the images of concentration. This translates the Sanskrit term vichinoti. Vichinoti. In order to do so, you need, of course, the adimokshiti manasikara. You need a resolution to determine. If you don't have the resolution, you cannot determine. And this resolution is, as we have explained, now we are talking about the Vipassana. It is in regard to the Savikalpa Pratibimba. It is in regard to the mental image with differentiation. So that means you differentiate the mental image either in the sense of own characteristic of this image, with discerning wisdom, or the characteristic of the image in the non-dualistic sense would be it comes from the mind. It comes from the mind itself, as we will see. What we actually experience as the object is the objective aspect of the consciousness called the nimitta bhaga. So it is a conceptual image. This is very important to understand. So the progression, as the Bodhisattva Bhumi explained, the progression in Vipassana is first you determine that this conceptual image, suppose a table, or now I see all kinds of persons, we see chairs, I see the floor, I see the camera in front of me, or whatever it is. It is a conceptual image, which I know it is the camera because of my previous experience, which is connected with the language, of course. If somebody has not explained to me what is camera and so on, I would not understand camera. The monkey does not know camera, the dog does not know camera. So it is a conceptual image. So this is the first step. I understand this is the conceptual image. When I understand this is the conceptual image, then I know that the conceptual image is based on the names. So I understand that the differentiation of the conceptual image is based on names, and then the differences of the conceptual image, the differentiation of this conceptual image, then all kinds of sensations, perceptions, and appreciation of the image in terms of liking, disliking, it is mine, it is not mine, and so on. All these are, in fact, the mind and the mental factors. They are this mental image, conceptual image, is not separated from the mind. It is the materiality, so to say, created by the mind. If there was not a mind, the materiality would not come to expression. And we experience the same object in a different way because of our difference in karma. So, as Vasubandhu explains, the same river is different in experience of gods, in experience of men, in experience of hungry ghosts, in experience of animals. So it is a conceptual object. And conceptions, they are related to how we conceive things, is related to our karmic accumulations. This is very important to understand. Then, if I become aware of it, then I can understand it. All of this I can understand as being the emptiness. The purpose of Yogācāra is to reveal the emptiness of the phenomena. All the phenomena that I perceive and that I attach to. If I don't attach to it, it's different. When, as soon as I attach to them, they are parikalpita, they are fabricated in the mind with my differentiation. But they are not separated from the mind. This is very important to understand. Then, when I have this perception, then on the base of understanding of suchness, of they are not separated from the mind, suchness is the non-dual understanding of emptiness. Therefore, this awareness of it, the tamprajanya, putting things together on the base of suchness, and the experience of suchness and experience of the awareness, they become one. This is how you get into the non-dualistic meditation, non-dualistic operation. For that, you need to do the 4 investigations. So explain these 4 investigations are at the stage before the direct experience of emptiness in the sense of non-duality, in the sense of suchness. How do we investigate? In order to grasp the object, table, and so on, there has to be a concept of the table. If I don't have the concept of the table, I will not grasp the image of the table. So the first, there is a name. On the name, there is a vastu. The vastu means the base for the object as it is. This is table and so on. So it is a fact. It is a fact that I have established by the concept, by the conceptual image. Then, because I don't understand the non-dualistic nature of the mind, therefore I impose on that image on the table, I impose the idea of the swabhava, of the self-existent nature. This table is separate from the mind. It is an entity which exists by itself. This is regarding of my conceptual image. Ignoring the fact that I am perceiving it as I perceive it due to my past experience. Without the past experience, I would not perceive the table. Then, on the base of this illusionary idea of swabhava, of self-existent nature of the table, then I differentiate the table as something which is like this, not like that. It is belonging to me, not belonging to me. It's something which I like, or it is something which I don't like. This table which has such and such qualities. And I differentiated the Vishesha on the base of this false idea of it having a separate self-existing nature. So by these 5 steps that we have described before, I become then completely aware that actually this object is not separated from the mind. This is the progress in Vipassana. First, I understand the object, not separated from the mind, then the illusionary nature of the mind, which cognizes the object as separate from the mind. Then I can detach from first from the object, then from the mind, differentiating the object, and this is how I, by long training, by this prayoga marga, by the path of effort, after the samvara marga, after I have accumulated some merits and some wisdom, concentration is also considered to be merit. If I have concentration, it's my merit. And if I have vipassana, it is my wisdom, because I have some wisdom, as we have explained before. The objects of shamatha and vipassana are the objects of the wisdom from hearing and on the wisdom from contemplation. If I don't have them, strictly speaking, I cannot practice shamatha and vipassana. So because I have this wisdom from hearing, wisdom from contemplating about what I have heard, I can go deeply into shamatha and vipassana. We have seen already that the wisdom from contemplation is connected with deep contemplation in isolation. when I isolated myself from the five senses, Kaya Viveka, I can contemplate and penetrate the nature of the object. For that, I need to have listened carefully about it and penetrated the meaning of the words. Then I can penetrate them through ways in my mind. This is the wisdom from reflection that it is called here. So the first step, vichinoti, means that by adimokshiti manasikara, by determination, the attention based on determination, I have, so to say, differentiated the own characteristics of the object. It is mental object, it is comes from the mind, as we have explained, or the analytical wisdom, it is the object which has such and such unique characteristics. Then the next step is pravichinoti. Pravichinoti he translates as discerns to the fullest possible extent, where he is translating not literally, but to the fullest possible extent means to understand it in the sense of suchness. Suchness is a common characteristic. If you use the analytical method, then the suchness is impermanence, unsatisfactory nature of impermanence, selfless nature of impermanence. And selfless nature of impermanence is suchness. And suchness not only of the person, but the suchness of everything we experience. Suchness is another name for a selfless nature, experiencing the selfless nature of the things rather than of the five aggregates which put the person together. So, according to this tradition, this is very important to understand. You, through the skillful means in understanding Chitta Matraka, understanding mind is the only reality, you penetrate the suchness of all objects of experience, no exception. That is the function of Chitta Matraka, to understand the selfless nature of everything. There is nothing which does not have the selfless nature. Impermanence is the nature of the created reality, but the suchness exists in the created reality, as we have explained, but it exists also in the non-created reality. In the non-dualistic meditation, we should always keep in mind suchness is a non-dualistic term for nirvana. But nirvana is something to be attained. But the suchness is the very nature of each and every phenomenon without exception. The created phenomena and the non-created phenomena, they are suchness. So suchness is one truth of all the phenomena, which summarizes all the phenomena. This is the non-dualistic approach. The Four Noble Truths are also suchness. But suchness is only one. Four Noble Truths are the means for realizing one suchness. They are also suchness. But plurality in suchness is for the purpose of realizing one suchness. So, what is meant here by pravichinoti, discern them to the fullest possible extent, means discern them in the sense of their common characteristic in the suchness, in impermanence, and the suchness as the real nature of all the phenomena. So, in these two aspects of the suchness. So, the first, vichinoti, refers us to the vishesha lakshana, to the special characteristics of the object. The pravichinoti, which is investigate them to the fullest possible extent, refers to the common characteristics, samanya lakshana. Then we have the special characteristics, we have the common characteristics. So we can use wisdom, we can use the vitarka. Vitarka means the power of discernment and the will, or we can use the power of thought, because the thought is discernment and will. We can use the power of thought in meditation, which is explained here. We thoroughly ponder over them. It means parivitarkayate. Parivitarkayate, you have to, through vitarka means what? Vitarka means samma sankalpa, the samyak sankalpa. Sankalpa and vitarka are the synonym. Sankalpa means thinking. So you investigate them with the correct thinking based on wisdom and the correct discernment. This object is nothing but the mental picture of the mind. But this investigation is still rather gross. You need a vichara to maintain your mind, sustain your mind on this differentiation. Then the gross differentiation will become the subtle differentiation. So after parivitarkayate, parivimamsate, this subtle differentiation, it is translated as thoroughly ponder and investigate them. He translates from Chinese. In Chinese, it is Sutra. Sutra means actually to investigate them. Shin means searching in Chinese, that is the word for vitarka. So first he searches, which is rough, and so is investigate. he investigates in detail, more deeply, what he has researched, then he can penetrate the real nature of the object and detach completely from it with a clear mind. There is no vipassana without a clear mind. So first he has to have the samyak drishti, the correct view, understanding that all the base for our experience is mind. Without the mind, there is no experience. Then he can have the samma sankalpa, the samyak sankalpa, the correct thinking by applying this in a subtle way, the mind to the object, and understand that this object is nothing but the mental image. And holding to the mental image means holding to the reality. We don't hold to the reality, the Vipassana, we hold to our mental image of the reality. The mental image of the reality is precisely the conceptual image, is the product of our karma. Karma means the accumulation of our samskaras. Samskara ayuhana is the karma. It is the definition. Because we have accumulated the samskara, they make a deep impression on us. Therefore, we hold to this mental image. Because we hold to mental image, we hold to existence. So we don't understand the middle path, which is beyond existence and beyond non-existence. This is the true meaning of dependent origination. Let's explain in the sutras. So now the next step he takes, he explains the different aspects of the wisdom one gets through meditating Vipassana by these 4 stages. This is extremely interesting. What are the different aspects of the wisdom you get through meditating in this way? This meditating in this way, he translates, involves recognition, that I will see better the Chinese text. The recognition here means kshanti. Recognition, he translates as kshanti. He has some reason for that, but it is not a literal translation. Of course, you cannot translate kshanti as recognition. He has good reasons for that. Recognition means a recognition of the non-duality. Advaita. This object, a table, and the mind, they are one process appearing from the karmic mind. If we hold this object as something existing apart from the mind, as having an own nature, then we are bound to grasp the images of the objects. If you attain the non-dual realization, which in this tradition is the realization of the Chitta Matrata, the realization of the Chitta Matrata is the unique feature in this tradition of the Buddha. Even the realized, even Arahat, realized the Bodhisattvas, they understand the chitta matrata, the mind only partially. Only the Buddha understands perfectly because he has no habit whatsoever. He just reflects the objects as they are. So he has no need for attention, he has no need for thinking in the sense of using will and discernment. He just reflects them as they are. For that, he has to get rid of all the vasanas of the mind. According to this tradition, even an arahat still have certain habits which determine or influence his behavior. His behavior is pure, he does not give rise to defilement, but he still has a certain habit. When I become an arahat, being a Czech, I may still like to eat more certain food than other foods because of the habit. If an Indian becomes an arahat, he has certain habits of eating some foods more than the others. This is not a defilement, but still it is a vasana, it is a habit. It will not make the mind impure, but it will still influence his behavior. He will serve himself more with this, less of that. But in case of the Buddha, this does not exist. He is example of all the good habits one should develop. Like the Arahat Gavampati, the great Arahat. He is called Gavampati because he was the count in many of his previous lives. So he has a habit of what do you call it? The cow chewing. It's, they have a special word for it. Chewing the cud. Chewing the cud. So he is still like chewing the cud. It is not any defilement, but it is a habit, you know. When you pay attention to your habits, you may discover some very, very interesting tendencies, which are surely the result of the previous samskaras. So, learning meditation is collecting the good samskaras, and they come from the practice of paramis and the practice of Saṃdhinirmocana, which is also a parami. So first is what he calls the aspect of wisdom, the non-dualistic wisdom is acceptance, kshanti, acceptance of non-duality. This is the meaning. So it actually here means the Dharma kshanti. For this tradition, the non-duality is the Dharma kshanti. Dharma anutpatti kshanti. In reality, in the highest reality, no Dharma is really arising. There is no real arising of the Dharma in the highest reality. So the next one is love, which literally means sukha. He translates as appreciation. Appreciation. What does it mean? Since you have recognized and recognized, let's use this terminology, you have recognized that the table is, you can only recognize it in a state of pliancy, in a state of clarity and relaxation. Since you have recognized that this object is not different from your mind, if you hold to the object, you hold to the mind because you hold it to the conceptual picture of the object. So you understand that this object is nothing else but the transformation of your mind, which is empty of any self-existent nature, but due to holding to the object and the habit of the holding to the object, it recognizes it as something separate from the mind. As Lanka Sutra, this tradition is very closely linked to Lanka Sutra and to the Zen tradition. What Bodhidharma taught in China is the Lanka Sutra. In Lanka Sutra is it is said, I don't remember exactly, but it is said more or less that we hold to the object. I have written it down somewhere in Chinese. I don't know where. We hold to the object. Actually, due to, if I remember well, due to holding to the object, due to this graha, due to holding to the object, is the reason why we understand the object as being outside the mind. How do we understand that the object is outside of the mind according to Lanka? Because we hold to the object. If we don't hold to the object, we will not perceive it as something being outside the mind. This is very important for understanding Zen. And one has to meditate very attentively and carefully to understand it. As soon as you hold the image of the object in your mind, it means that you are perceiving it as something apart from the mind. This is what Lanka Sutra says. And due to that, the empty nature of the mind is parinama, it is changing. The mind is in its nature empty, but when it holds to the object as being something outside, then its empty nature changes. Now, if you don't hold any conceptual object, any object at all, where is your mind? This is a good start to understand what is meant by happiness, appreciation. Your mind does not get defiled by any object because it does not hold the image of the object. And that image is a conceptual image. This is in regard to a person, and this is also in regard to the truth. So this is what he means by appreciation, sukha. You can only not grasp the outer image of the object if your mind is in the state of prashanabdi, balance, clarity. We have explained the stages, 5 stages of meditation. This is the stage of Adarsha, the state you are reflecting the object as in the mirror. That you can only do if your mind is in the state of pliancy. If your mind is not in the state of pliancy, you cannot see the object as a mirror. So this much about the sukha appreciation. So actually this state of not holding to any conception or object is a sukha, is a very subtle sukha. And if you are a good meditator, it is a kind of a bliss of meditation. The next aspect he described as pragya. Pragya here, hui in Chinese, he probably means samprajanya, because the pragya and samprajanya, they are synonyms. This you will find also in Theravada. This is not only in the Mahayana tradition, but in Mahayana, the pragya does not mean the differentiating wisdom, but it means the transcendental wisdom. Now you have this pliancy of the mind, you have happiness of the mind, which is not colored by the object, not colored by raga. Raga is from the Sanskrit word ranj, which means actually being colored. You are not colored by the object because you don't hold the conceptual image of the object. So your mind is there, you are witnessing the object clearly, but you are free from holding to the object in any way. So your awareness is there. And Samprajanya means awareness of what? That if you hold the image of the object, your mind, the nature of the mind will be transformed by the object. But the mind, its own nature, as we will learn later, the own nature of the mind does not change. It is a suchness. It changes because it is transformed by the objects. What object? The conceptual images. So this is the true meaning of here in this non-dualistic understanding of Dharma Pravichaya. Dharma Pravichaya, Dharma Vichaya means the correct discernment of the Dharma. Correct discernment of the Dharma here is in the non-dualistic understanding. Vasubandhu in the beginning of Abhidharma Kosha says, Dharma Pravichaya Antarena Nasti Klesha Pahanaya Upaya. There is no any skillful means for abandoning the defilements of the mind except the Dharma Pravichaya, except the correct discernment of the Dharma. Here the correct discernment of the Dharma is the non-dualistic understanding. We should be clear about that. When we clear about that, Then what comes next? Darshana, we translate as vision. Direct vision. You don't need any differentiation, you don't need putting things together. You have the direct vision of the non-dualistic nature of your experience. And the last is Quan. When you have the direct vision of your experience, then Quan means contemplation. The contemplate Quan also in Chinese translates Vipassana. Vipassana literally means seeing by differentiation. Vipassana means seeing, with means a differentiation. But here, the differentiation is in the non-dualistic sense. So, this is observation, translated observation is perfectly right. We don't have the Sanskrit version of it. I don't understand Tibetan, so I can compare. But in Chinese, one could translate observation. Observation also describes the ability to see the cause and effect. So you have the previous acceptance of the Dharma in a non-dualistic way, the bliss of being in the state of not grasping for the conceptual image of the object, then the correct discernment of the object, then the direct vision of its non-dualistic nature, and then observation in the sense of Vipassana. You discern that it is really so. Because the previous causes, you have clear observation that this is right. All this is just the mind which changes its nature by grasping to the conceptual images. So this is the contemplation, the observation, sorry, contemplation we had the previous, the direct vision. And this brings us to the end. Mean Vipassana. This is called Vipassana. These these 4 stages and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aspects, they are called Vipassana. So, Dichinoti, Pravichinoti, Parivitarkayati, Parivimamsayati, then Kshanti, Sukha, Pragya, Darshana, and Vipassana. And as the question was, how does one search for samatha and becomes well-versed or familiar with vipassana? So he explained this is how the bodhisattva becomes familiar with vipassana. And we come to the next question, which is very easy. We can go through it very quickly. Maitreya also asked the Buddha, should the path of tranquility and the path of sorry, I have jumped over. The next question is, Maitreya went on. If enlightened beings focus on the mind as object, let me translate from Chinese because this is very subtle. Yes, if the bodhisattvas, if they take mind as the object, with all right, focused mind, and inwardly meditate on the mind, but have not yet attained the prashrabdhi, physical and mental ease or pliancy, what should their exercise of attention be called? So this described, before we were talking about the 9 stages of shamatha, this describes the 1 to the 5th stage of shamatha. They have not yet attained the 6th stage of shamatha, which is shamayati. So they don't have yet deep experience of relaxation and clarity, not deep experience of pliancy of body and mind, but they are practicing, yet they are practicing shamatha. Their aim, they are observing the continuity of the mind on the same object, same mind in past, present and future, and they try to maintain the same object. But they have not yet pliancy, so how to call it? Well, he says, Buddha replies, this is not the attention of tranquility, it is attention involved in application to tranquility. Actually, literally, it is not shamatha, but it is shamatha anuloma adimokshiki manasikara. This is literally translation from Chinese into Sanskrit. So it is the attention connected samprayukta with the resolution to adopt to shamatha. This would be the literal translation. This translation is okay, but it is very free translation. But sometimes this literal translation is very useful. So it is not the real shamatha, it is because it is based purely on the resolution. And if you are based on the resolution purely, you will not get, not yet have developed fully awareness. So your mind will not be fully pacified. Only when you have attained your awareness is fully crystallized, so you don't need much resolution. You can relax and be in a state of purity. Or relative purity. Purity is always relative. So here you are experiencing the mental image, which is not same but not different from what you have heard is sensory, Tadrisha, and you, on the base of this image, you are observing the continuity of the mind on the image. This is shamatha. You don't differentiate the image, so you are continuing on the nirvikalpa pratibimba, on the mental image without differentiation. Now we come to vipassana. If enlightened beings have not yet attained physical and mental ease, what is the attentive meditation? Let me check the Chinese. What is the attentive meditation? Involved in application through observation. So, in Chinese, so again, the same. What is the attention based on the mental image, which you have been investigating in meditation. So the Buddha answer is, it is not the attention of observation, it is not attention. He translates observation as vipassana from Chinese, Quan. This is rather confusing. We should keep to vipassana, not to observation, but for your understanding, it is very important. So what should be the attention? Attentive meditation on the images. Okay, so he translates the vipassana as observation. So Buddha says it is not the attention of observation of vipassana, it is attention. Why? Because you need strictly speaking, if you don't have relaxation and clarity, it is not yet any true vipassana, because your object will not be clear, either in the sense of differentiation of its qualities, or in the differentiation or understanding its non-dualistic nature, if it's coming the conceptual image, that's all. So it is not attention of vipassana, it is attention involved in application to observation. So it is attention before you have attained the prashanti, which is necessary for the which makes the mind and the object clear, so that you can understand its nature in differentiating sense, and you can understand its being the mental image, also coming from the mind itself, being the transformation. So, because it is in order to discern the object, you have to bring the will to the object. So, this differentiation unless your mind and the object is clear, will always be very, very superficial. Okay, so this brings us to the end today. I hope we got some clarity on the Vipassana. This is a rough explanation. The text will improve on it. And we have the rough explanation of the shamatha. So now we should be easy to understand. Okay, that much for today as far as the explanation is concerned. We go to questions if there are any.
Yes, please, Bhante. You explained these 5 aspects of Vipassana, translated Shanti, Sukha, Prajna, and Darshana. This 5th one.
And contemplation,
yeah,
that is the last one.
The 5th one, contemplation. How did you see that translating from the Sanskrit or the Sutra?
One would correspond to Vipassana.
So actually, the last of the 5 aspects is Vipassana.
Yes. But normally Vipassana means differentiation. This prefix V usually means difference. But here it has means how we translate.
It translated contemplate.
Yeah, contemplation. So contemplation is means actually samprajana, awareness. And we have explained before that in this tradition, when you develop your meditation, this samprajanya and the suchness will become one. Samprajanya becomes suchness, suchness becomes samprajanya, because the mind is the object.
You mentioned also samprajanya in connection to precise awareness, to prajna.
Yes, samprajanya literally means the ability to put things together by wisdom in an analytical way, but here also in the base of transcendental wisdom, because transcendental wisdom is the base for all non-dualistic understanding of reality. That is, without that, the practice of paramis cannot lead to which freedom from all influences and habits.
Is there any question?
No question?
No question.
Okay, so we transfer merit and that will be for today. Nobody is. Yes. No. Samprajanya means putting things together by wisdom, either by differentiating wisdom or by the transcendental wisdom. These 2 wisdoms you need. The Bodhisattva also needs to differentiate wisdom. Without the differentiating wisdom, you also can do. But this differentiating wisdom in transcendental wisdom sutras is based on the must be based in transcendental wisdom. Only when you have transcendental wisdom, you can understand things as they really are. If you don't have transcendental wisdom, you cannot understand things as they really are. Such as emptiness. Okay.
But there is one question. Please ask.
Okay, Bhante.
See,
Yeah.
very diligent.
Yes.
We are not able to hear you.
The samatha with the mind as object.
I can't hear anything.
Objectless. Huh?
I can't hear anything. Sorry.
Oh, wait. Hear me now?
This is not a
Oh,
sound.
wait a moment.
So there is no question, right?
No question.
Yeah. His voice was not clear.
Yeah, it's very.
Okay, now?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Hear
Yeah,
me
we
now?
can.
Okay. I would like to clarify the practice of samatha with the mind as object.
A little slower sound. Huh?
Can you be a little bit slower?
Yes, about the practice of samatha with the mind as object. Is it when is the objectless meditation? Is this one?
You can have in the dhyana, you are also immersed in the object. So you have in dhyana, it is also merging into the mind. In the objectless meditation, it is also merging into the mind. Both are merging into the mind. Dhyana and objectless meditation. So
Okay. So whatever.
if you cannot keep your mind empty of objects, then in order to continue to have clarity that object is coming from the mind, you can use the dhyana to be in the understanding that the object comes from the mind. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So let us transfer merit. Eta vata chame samphatam punya sampatam sabbe deva anumodantu sabha sampati siddhya. Eta vata chame samphatam punya sampatam sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabha sampati siddhya. Eta vata chame samphatam punya sampatam sabbe satta anumodantu sabha sampati siddhya. Aka satta chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantana numoditva chiramarakantu kasasana. Aka satta chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantana numoditva chiramarakantu desana. Aka satta chabumata deva naga mahidika punyantana numoditva chiramarakantu tumarkana. Devo vasatukalum sasa sampati hotu pito bhavatu roko rajana bhavatu mamina. May the merit of this practice spread to all beings so that we attain the state of the Dharma. Okay.